can we just appreciate Mappa for not cutting or censoring too much of Willie Tyber's body at the end of this episode? Man, what an incredible episode. Now, if you guys haven't rewatched the episode, just please go ahead and rewatch the episode. Just do me that favor. I keep looking at people's comments and just reactions to the episode, and it looks like this episode was a little bit too overhyped. Personally, to me, it did live up to my expectations. You know what they say, man. High expectations could lead to disappointment, or something along those lines. By the way, if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe, help out the channel. We're slowly growing, but we're growing. And yeah, man, so this episode, let's just talk about animation and art. How can you complain? How can you complain of how everything was done in this episode? It all looked super sharp, crisp, faithful to the manga, and just beautiful. Mappa did an amazing job on this episode for sure. Another thing that we have to touch about is voice acting. A few things that stood out for me on voice acting: the scenes with Eren, Reiner, and Falco in the room were incredible. Eren's voice was so I think the word is monogamous. It was just monotonic. Like, you don't know if he wants to kill you. You don't know if he wants to be friends. You don't know what kind of business he means, and that's just amazing. The only slight thing that I would say is I would have preferred if his voice was slightly raised volume level wise above Reiner and Falco, but I guess that's just a choice that Mappa decided to make. Falco's voice acting, the way you can tell that he's putting up the pieces together, like, who is this guy? What does he want? Like, do I know? What have I done? It's just amazing voice acting. And then just Reiner's voice acting, man. You can tell that this guy just wants to die. He wants some peace. He wants to go to where he, probably belongs. It's either somewhere in the world or somewhere in, but you can definitely tell the despair in Reiner's voice. If his voice could crack, his voice would be cracking and crying and shit. He's just asking for Eren to kill him, and that's just amazing voice acting done. Willie Tyber's speech, I think it could have been done slightly better in the sense of the emotions that were, said by Willie. But it is what it is, man. We can't complain. For me, this was a 10 out of 10 episode. No real complaints. Also the other thing that I keep seeing is the OST. Guys, come on, man. Just rewatch the episode. The music. First of all, Sawano, I think he's not the main composer. So whoever is doing it did an amazing job. All the OSTs played on this episode were incredible. They were perfect to build up tension, to set up the tone, to set up the scenes before the speech of Willie would start, when Eren started talking. Even at the start, when they give us a little highlight of Bertold talking about the person who he keeps having dreams of. It was just incredible. That's all for me. I think I'm going to keep it on. Like I said, high expectations could lead to disappointment. To me, it was an incredible episode that will live on forever, and it will not be forgotten. Just imagine someone that's completely new to the series just coming in and watching from start to beginning, and how he would feel at this exact point without knowing anything about the series. That would be just an incredible feeling. Personally, as a manga reader, I kind of felt the same way. It obviously didn't feel new to me, but it felt special, and that's how I want to have this episode as. I'm gonna leave it at that. Thank you all for watching. If you're still here, I touched upon animation, art, voice acting, setting up the scenes, tension. One last thing that I'm going to touch upon is who's the enemy. I've touched upon this a few times already, but as you can tell, Karl Fritz was not the enemy. Karl Fritz was... everything was just a scam, pretty much. Everything was just a BS made up story So this just, it's very impactful for Eldians and Marleyans, because who they were hating someone all along that was probably their savior, truly just their savior. If they want to hate someone now, it is definitely Eren Yeager, and this is who is the villain in the story, in the view as a story person inside the story. Does that make sense? As the viewer, it's different, because it all depends. It's subjective. Who do you want to vote for or vouch for? But Karl Fritz was not the enemy. He had his vow of renouncing of war, meaning he just wanted peace. Are the Eldian restorationists the enemies? Are they the true enemies? Do they still exist? We don't know. Could you consider Eren Yeager as technically as an Eldian restorationist? He did inherit the memories, but we don't know. We've never heard of him calling himself such a thing. What does Eren want? Is it freedom? Oh, one last thing I keep saying one last thing, but another scene, and I will show it on screen, is the scene where Willie says, because I don't wish to die, because I was born into this world. This is the moment when Eren smiles, and at this point, it's safe to say that Eren has changed, and you can see that this line definitely had some reflection on Eren. You can see how his eyes open. Think about that scene. Let me know what you think about that scene specifically. Like I said, 10 out of 10 episode, man. Incredible episode. I want to know what you guys think. Tell me everything. Let's just talk about it. If I see something that is a spoiler, I'll probably not. I'm gonna put a tag saying spoiler talk as well. What do you guys think? Thank you all for watching. If you're still here, subscribe if you haven't done so already. Really helps out the channel. We're trying to grow. That's it, man. Thank you all. Welo out. Peace.